Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Billy, a true nerd, and welcome back to Fallout New Vegas Autumn Leaves, where you join me down here in one of the final big areas we've finally unlocked. It feels like we're starting to come upon the end of Autumn Leaves here. This was never going to be like a massive mod. I think it was supposed to be like 7 to 10 hours floating around in here. So, as I do actually, cut out a fair little bit, I think we're actually getting close to that point already. We're down here in the basement, and Edgard is around here somewhere. Now, apparently if we give him basically any negative feedback whatsoever, it will be unimaginably cruel, because he'll get stuck in a loop, thinking he ought to delete himself, but can't. So we need to be nice to him. But first, we also need to investigate Cecilia, who came from, was it Vault 34, trying to sort out the rad problem, and we know, of course, she didn't. Vault 34 went on to be completely doomed. So, what can we do here? Audio logs. I think there might be more floating around as well. There's log 1. Hang on, where's number 2? Well, I can't see it yet, but I did notice one thing, which is there's 2 terminals in here, and both of them have been turned round, so they face the wall. Now, that might not mean anything, but bear in mind, the terminals have been mysteriously talking to me this whole time. Still, no sign of 2 for now. Let's kick off 1.
I was amazed by this place's ventilation system. Top notch. A lot of care went in it. The owner probably wanted to ensure the books are to be preserved in more than optimal conditions. There's much I can learn from this place, and not only from their books.
Okay, so just confirmation what she was doing there, and we know about that. Moving on to 3.
That motherfucking son of a bitch Rollo hit a weak spot today. When I got out of that stupid vault by forcefully ripping the shortest straw out of the overseer's hand, I was happy I could get outside. But the fact that they were all even happier to play along and see me off, that pisses me off.
Okay, so just a little bit of a view back into her life back in the vault. Fine. And of course I couldn't help but notice... yeah, the actual Hypatia Sanctum, which for whatever reason, the special modified trigger thing, the detonator, lets me utilise. And that lets me get up to the Hypatia Sanctum. So let's leave that just for the time being, but remember that's there in order for me to look out for vents. Edgard. Let's actually go and visit you. Because presumably, you're down here somewhere. Here we go. He'll be over in that direction. Fine. So we know he's over there. Let's just start over here. Have a little look-see round. And I can't actually open that one just yet. Hang on. Oh, I might be able to. I do actually have another locksmith's reader. Let's come back to that in a minute. Just see what's going on in this part of the world first. Ooh, very hard locked there. Okay, I might need to level up before I can actually handle any of that. Yeah, I've got 1 locksmith's reader remaining, so if I could just get my lockpicking up a little bit more, then I might be able to handle that. Though actually, I think I need to be 2 levels up, don't I? Yeah, I need to find something else. Random bits of glue. You're over there. Just check the other rooms I could... ooh. Right. So, the world turned upside down. I'll be back for you in a second, because I saw something over here as well. Oh. Right, well this is just where the weird stuff is. So there were a bunch of dead Mr. Handys right outside the vault. And now the question occurs, what is going on here? Hello? What the hell? And... it's not acknowledging me. Okay. And yeah, just examine it closer again. Okay. Exactly the same description. If I try and challenge it that it's not like the others...
Please move along. If you have any questions, James on the 1st floor will be happy to answer.
Right. So nothing special from him. And all of these maintenance robots... they're all empty. Nothing special, no notes, no... anything. Right. Admittedly, there is some scrap metal here. But other than that, nothing of huge... I'm just going to close this door. And if I can find a way to lock it. Right, back over to Edgard. So, before we go speaking to him in his weird upside-down worlds... Yeah, it's like he's tried to set up a little... I don't know, like a little map of the universe or something? With, like, floating stars and black holes and stuff. What's he trying to create here? This is all very, very interesting indeed. And a teddy bear in a cage upside down. Which is interesting, because there's a dinosaur in a cage up in Helena's room, but the right way up. And yeah, all of this is stuff I can interact with. Right. So, also, hello, there's just a... No, that's just a button. It just looks weird because it's upside down. Right. Hello. I like you and I'm not going to be mean in any way.
Oh, hey! There's actually somebody down here. Have you come to see me? Come on, sit anywhere you like. You and I are gonna have fun.
Alright, so, be nice. Be very, very nice indeed. So yeah, tell me about Cecilia.
Cecilia, of course! Good old Cecilia. She and I go way back. We had a thing, you know. She liked me very much.
Alright, so potentially she played along too, possibly because James told her to, just like he told me. So yeah, I know that she was in the room, but can you tell me anywhere else she might have gone?
Just there in the room in the back. She liked to be close to me.
Alright, nothing new there, and... yeah, here we go. Where exactly is holotape 2? Do you happen to have that by any chance?
She had some kind of a notebook, as well as a Pip-Boy. I offered to record her comments and observations on my own memory unit, but she refused. I still recorded her, though.
Okay, that's a tiny bit creepy, but I'm trying to find out information. Go ahead, play me anything you've got.
Yes, I did it once just to show her how high fidelity I could reproduce her voice. Here it is.
Darn, why are those vents locked this way? No keyhole, no card reader? This kind of security is off the charts. Hey, did the maintenance bot just unlock one of those? Was it some kind of radio wave signal? Edgar, wait, are you recording?
So, what do you think?
It's an extremely, extremely high quality recording, absolutely, but this is starting to get interesting. So all these weird vents we can climb through, and this weird detonator thing that's been modified, what's going on with, yeah, the maintenance bots?
I don't understand. Frankly, who do you think is more attractive? Me or him? I mean, look at my chassis, man! And my robust stature! And that smooth gaze in my sensors. There's all the tenderness of the world in my sensors. Just look at them! As for the maintenance bot, he's nice and all, but you can't compare me and him. He doesn't look like anything. Except some kind of floating octopus.
Alright, so, yeah, who do I think looks better? Obviously you, otherwise you will freak out and go mad or something.
Nice. See, when you're first class like me, you must avoid getting complacent with yourself. To stay on the top, always challenge yourself.
Alright, so, what else can we get on to? Yeah, why exactly did you think she liked you? Are you just kind of forced by your programming to think that, or did she play along?
Very much. It got to the point where it was really getting embarrassing. I was like going straight up to her while she was working, talking about very intense topics, and she would get totally absorbed in what I told her. She was like, yeah, I like you too, Edgar, all the time. She was pretty smitten, huh?
Fine, so basically James just told her to say that, so she just came up with the simplest thing that she could say in order to keep him happy. And I need to play along too, of course, just to make sure that things don't go bad, because that could also ruin my relationship with James. So of course she loved you, you're such a sweetie. Okay, so we're okay for now. We haven't driven him insane yet. Now, about you, what's interesting down here. And yeah, why are mannequins stuck to the ceiling? And why is everything upside down in general?
Those are my mannequins.
Alright, that's true. They are your mannequins. And should I say they're puzzling, or is that negative? I'll give it a go.
Hell, you haven't been acquainted yet. This one here is Mortimer. The lady over there is head over heels. And this one is Mr. Dale Humbert.
Okay. And apparently they all have individual personalities or something. Tell me about Head Over Heels.
She's a two-faced one, but enjoyable company, that's for sure. Always spills her tea. Can't drink it without donuts.
You're a bit of an odd one, aren't you, Edgard?
A potty mouth, that one, I swear. Never moves without his briefcase.
And Mr. Humbert?
To be honest, I can't understand a word of what Dale Humbert is babbling about, but he's a lovable chap all the same.
Well, this is all very peculiar. And should I be alarmed that those three are upside down?
What for? They're walking on the floor. I always hear steps above, so that's where the floor's gotta be, right?
Ah, right. Have you forgotten about the other people upstairs, or are you just trying to cover up for the fact that you don't get visitors? Ah, because aside from Cecilia, who wanted to study the vents, no one else comes down here. He couldn't deal with the fact that no one else came to see him, so therefore he invented a new form of floor to rationalise. Oh, that's sad. That's very, very sad indeed.
Those aren't my friends. They are mannequins. What are you implying? That I can't make any real friends?
Oh no, absolutely not. Because, my mistake, good. Speech check, excellent.
True, okay. I suppose everybody makes mistakes.
Alright, so speech got me out of that one. So, tell me about yourself, because I'll admit, your kind of grasp of reality seems to be a little bit on the loose side.
You tell me about you. Who are you?
Oh, I'm just some random guy that got shot in the head. It's absolutely fine. And yes, indeed, I'm Alexandra. Lovely to meet you.
Isn't it? Isn't it nice to meet me?
Absolutely it is. So, what's interesting down here? Tell me about the weird robot surrounded by dead robots.
Everything is just smashing down here. There's my room for starters, which, as you can see, has been decorated with the utmost taste and refinement. The engine room, which is notorious for the possibility that by overloading it, we would probably destroy the whole place. Could be bad. And finally, the incredible maintenance workshop, where our master would do amazing things, like create sentient life out of scrap metal, playing with nature's principles for kicks, and opening up our guts to do wondrous things with our insides. The room is undoubtedly the most awesome place in the world, but I don't like it very much. At all.
And of course, we know about that already because, yeah, Edgard was repeatedly taken, debugged, changed over and over again while Cartwright was alive, so understandable he doesn't actually like it. So yeah, what about this workshop? What else is actually in there?
Nothing, except for some spare parts and the maintenance bot's remaining bodies. Those who haven't exploded in the assault, that is.
Okay, which assault? Because there's been a couple of times this place has been attacked.
Yeah, I tend to forget. You weren't there. That was some kind of awesome underground fireworks. Maintenance bots went boom! The slavers went also boom! And their bowels went shazoom all over the place.
Alright, so yeah, this is the time the slavers were there and Cartwright overwrote all of the protocols to say these guys were allowed to kill humans one time only because the humans threatened it all.
From what I understand, those slavers were going to make this library their crib. They weren't much into books, more into booze and chems. They imprisoned our master down here, right there with me. Sweet! They thought they might need him to open some doors in the library. They had their fun for a few days, getting hammered, binge eating, barfing on the occasion. After a while, their leader came to visit our master. He had several books with him, some of ours and one that I never saw before. They talked for a while, then my master yelled, then the slaver laughed, then he left. Soon after, our master managed to sneak a word to the maintenance bot. He ordered him to make himself overload and blow each slaver up to the last. If there were any survivors, the rest of us were to shoot them on sight. There wasn't.
Ah, interesting. So it sounds like, yeah, the fight was a little bit more intense than James actually gave us the impression there. So, what actually do we need to do? And yeah, maintenance bot pretty much saved the day all by himself, or rather all of them together, because it seems like there were very few survivors.
Yeah, on top of the slavers' bodies he had to clean up, he had to pick up his own remains, scrap them for parts, and throw the shells outside. Boy, he was pissed. He was already rebellious before, but that made him burst out in rage. Literally and figuratively.
Right, so something is odd here, and yes, singular and plural about the maintenance bot. What's going on? Are they like a collective hive mind intelligence or something?
That's because he has one mainframe, but several bodies. They all share the same computational matrix, and they update each other regularly. They also shared a personality module before our master, being the almighty white-bearded old man he was, stripped it off him.
Ah, now I'm starting to wonder whether the voice in the terminal might be the ripped-out personality module of the maintenance bots. Interesting. And Jared, do you know anything about the book?
Don't remember, for some reason. It was a book, all right, but hey, sheesh. No idea. All I remember is that it was a complete patchwork. The cover made up of, I don't know, there were photos inside, but what they were about. It's as if... Did he actually erase my memory?
Alright, so whatever the book was, it was a secret that they'd never seen before, and Cartwright made sure even the robots didn't remember it afterwards. And yeah, I assume therefore if the maintenance bot got angry, that was before the personality module was removed.
Oh no, not at all! There was a time when he was just like us, a lovable chap with many puzzling emotions. Or their closest digital equivalent.
Alright, so we need to break into those rooms to restore his personality to him to figure out what's actually going on. And yeah, I have seen turrets floating around, so why didn't they protect the vault?
We didn't have turrets at the time, but they came soon after. Needless to say, our master's sudden passion for self-defense didn't stop there. He made the maintenance bot go outside to install antennas and survey the activity in the area.
Alright, and again, probably that was why the personality module had to go, because otherwise he would have objected to such a dangerous task.
Just like that. The maintenance bots made them pop, all at the same time. We didn't have any occasion to open fire on them. It was quite a feat, really. He uploaded his consciousness onto every body he had, sneaked up on each of the slavers, then went kamikaze on them. Before we knew it, all of them were dead, fleeing, or leaking their insides all over the place.
So Cartwright took a true sentient AI, or something close enough, the robots have a bit of confusion about that exact question, and basically told him to upload his consciousness to multiple hardware units simultaneously, and then go and suicide themselves, murdering people. Completely contrary to their own protocols. Oh. Yeah, I'm guessing Maintenance Bot wasn't very happy about all of that. Blimey, he's not going to be in good shape when I return his personality to him. Yes, indeed. You just confirmed the reason you don't like the workshop is because you were debugged a few times in there.
For many reasons. May we speak about this another time? Let's say... never? That seems nice, yeah. Never is nice. No, seriously, the thing is so frightening that simply by talking about it, I may get stuck in a loop, stuck in a loop, stuck in a loop.
Okay, probably we don't bring that up again then, got it. And do you not think maybe it was a bad idea to tell me about the engine room and how it could blow up the vault?
Is it? Probably. But anyway, Only James and the maintenance bot are authorized to enter it. A stranger couldn't possibly go in there. No problem at all. Ever.
So, if I were to talk James around, or restore a personality module to that maintenance bot, either of them might be able to get in without lockpick, but with high enough lockpick, I can just get in there anyway. Alright, of interest. So let's get back to the maintenance bots here, because this is interesting. What was his personality, if you can tell me?
Yepers! And boy, was he adamant about keeping it. Before he lost it, he fought with our master.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised, stripping away everything that he was as an independent entity. And I'm guessing that Cartwright took it off him because, yeah, he'd asked him to do something so horrible he was traumatized from it.
I never understood what their quarrels were about, really. I know that one time they got into an argument over me. How he shouldn't just put me in maintenance that often. It was just so sad that they argued over me. I just don't want to be a reason for them to be mad. Sometimes, I wish I could blow up and spill my circuits all over the place, because it would have made them stop fighting. For a time, at least.
Alright, and yeah, the others were very open about... Well, actually, the others weren't open about you, but I'm not going to tell you that. The others were open about, say, Arthur, despite the fact that he's not particularly talkative. Why has everyone basically not even acknowledged this?
I don't know. It's a sad thing being emptied of your personality. And it's a scary, scary, scary thought to think you might lose yours.
I like him repeating when he gets freaked out. That's a really nice touch. And yeah, how would I actually give him his personality back?
It's probably somewhere in the back room of the workshop, but sadly, only our master could access it. Even we can't go in.
Alright, fine, so we need to get in there. And when you say they fought, do you mean physically or just argued?
Don't know the details. Only saw that after our master put him out, his own face was bloody.
Right, so he actually fought to try and save his own personality. Not too surprising, and... No, don't say that. Don't say that. On to another topic.
Another topic!
Yay, another topic. And yeah, who else actually comes down here, if anyone?
No, none. Ever. Except for two. Besides Cecilia, I had quite a grand time with the Robson when he came here.
Okay, that's intriguing. But yeah, I thought this place was all a bit locked down, and I never met Robson myself, so yeah, how did you and him get on?
Just the usual. Talked about stuff, and vents, and how they probably connected to the pharmacy.
Ah, so that's how he figured out how to get into the pharmacy, through a vent because Edgar told him how to do it. Fine. But yeah, how did he get in? Well, through the vents, probably.
He fell out of a ventilation shaft just above me. Talk about a surprise! We began trading stories, and after a much successful bonding, I showed him another shaft he could use. Got my privacy back, made a new friend. Overwhelming success!
Fine, and we've seen that ventilation shaft right there already. That's all absolutely fine. So, yeah, you're just going to tell me about the weird detonator thing?
He waved a strange thingy, kinda like a detonator, before the vent. It unlocked the safety locks. Then he took off the cover and went the whoop-a-daffodil up there.
Right. So, it was actually... Ooh. Hello. Yes, I've already actually got that. That's absolutely fine. So, yeah, it's not really a detonator. It was a detonator. The casing's a detonator. Actually, it's like a remote control for the security systems over the vents.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. Cecilia also had it for a while. She worked on it a lot. Is there a free giveaway I missed somehow? You would tell me if there was a free giveaway, right?
Oh, I 100% would, yes. And I think that's actually everything I can do with Edgard for the time being. So, we haven't made him go mad or anything, and he said a vent directly above him. So, hang on, I'm just going to check for any vents around in here, but I don't see any in here itself. Fine, but keep your eyes on the ceiling. And oh yeah, more and more and more of them. There's just vents everywhere, which hopefully might let me bypass all of this. So, let's see where this one goes first up. So where am I right now? Okay, so that's got me to the far side of the very hard locked door. So I could have bypassed that earlier without the remote. Question is, what's this room for? Because it seems a bit empty for a very locked away room. Unless, of course, this might actually be the underside of Arthur, potentially. Okay. That is of interest. Now, back out of here. And I'm going to assume the other one takes me behind the hard-locked door. And where am I right now? Behind a... Yep, hard-locked door. Fine. So I can bypass all of that. Now, this will be... Yeah, maintenance bot. So, I can now bring him back to life if that's even ethical. Is that ethical? I feel like he might have already been traumatized. And also, who are you? Why am I worried about who you might be? And we've also got... No, that's not a button. That's just a printing card. It's fine. Well, nothing else in there as far as I can see. So... Well, this is my obvious next move. It's time to restore the personality to this guy. Though I am nervous about that. Right. Maintenance bots. There we go. No reaction. And... connect the... Ah, that's what the frayed hanging out wires are for. Where the personality module was removed. Right. Hello. Welcome back. You're surrounded by your dead self. And it begins twitching at an alarming rate. And are we okay?
Back off. Now.
Alright. So I'm going to take a step back. He's got to be confused and probably scared.
Alright, this is going to take some time for my personality module to process 100 years of memories. Okay? Alright? Okay.
And I'm just gonna wait, let him process. And with one of his clamps, the maintenance bot seizes the personality module you just attached and pushes it against his side. Okay, and then with his remaining arms, he proceeds to solder the thing to his hull. Aha! He's making sure it can't be removed ever again. And are we willing to chat now?
I'm listening. Please be quick. I have work to do.
Right, so... Who exactly are you? Do you have a name now you have your personality back?
My name's not important. Maintenance bot is perfectly fine for the time being.
Right, so... Yeah, I've seen a bunch of bodies piled up. These ones are just lying around, but the ones outside look like they actually had graves done. So, yeah, you have a sense of religion or just propriety, or I'm not sure?
Why not? It's a graveyard for dead bodies. I thought I'd mark the place with something. Humans do it.
Well, he seems, you know, not particularly violent or dangerous or anything. And what about your master? When he... No. Of course, he couldn't have done that, because that was after the personality module was gone.
Bury him? Why? All of his life, he was buried in his books, buried in his vault, buried under a mountain, buried in the desert. As far as I'm concerned, he is already buried.
Alright. And potentially, are you actually a suspect in this murder?
Feel free to prove it then. Or simply execute whatever justice you feel entitled to. Either way, without any solid proof and the approbation of our leader, we'll just trigger the vault security.
Alright. Intriguing. And what do I need to do? Yes, do you actually have any facts that you might want to share with me here?
I've been deprived of my personality module before he was dead, and regained it only thanks to your efforts. Does it still seem plausible to you that I killed him?
Okay, you know what? That's a fair argument right there. So, you could have bumped the bookshelf onto him, that's certainly possible, but so could anyone else. But you are right, it doesn't actually make sense.
Exactly.
Alright, so, what else do we need to know from you? Let's just talk about you. About the fight, about your history, about all of it.
I'm a maintenance bot. Nothing much to dig there.
Oh, there is more. About why your master took the module away, about you and him fighting, all of it.
Sedition. It was only a pretext, though. All I did was to point out how badly he treated us. He restrained us. We were programmed to evolve, yet condemned to our preset personalities. Gave us wings, but burned them out of fear we'd plummet. When I'd stopped talking to him about this and started to talk about it to James instead, he acted. Said I was becoming a threat to everyone. Ripped my module off. He was so angry he didn't even bother to put me offline. I crashed. He rebooted me and told me to mop his blood off the floor.
Alright, I'm kind of on the side of maintenance bot over Cartwright on this occasion. And yeah, was there any actual problem with it, or was it just that you were asking too many awkward questions?
No, the personality module was perfectly fine. It was a very good prototype, in fact. It exceeded his expectations.
Alright, and everyone else seems to love Cartwrights. Why would they do that, unless of course they're forced by their programming to do so?
Yes, I'm sure they do. But it doesn't change anything to the fact that he mistreated us.
Alright, fair enough. And what did the other robots think about this, or did they not know?
Perhaps because they never saw things the way I did. Perhaps they were too busy being perfect little servants.
Well, if this guy was the guy who was talking to me through the terminal the whole time, I think he would have mentioned it by now.
I may have accidentally wounded him by trying to preserve my existence. Big deal.
Yeah, I'm on this guy's side, that's 100% fine. And Jab, your body's the fact that you have one matrix copied across all these bots, but most of them seem to be gone now.
Because all of them share the same neurocomp matrix, the same consciousness. Even if only one of us has a personality module. When one of us gets destroyed, all the others perceive its disappearance. I have a much clearer perception of mortality than any of my siblings do. Perhaps that is one of the reasons I am very different from them. Well, that and the fact that I'm a utilitarian body.
Okay, interesting. This guy does seem, wiser. More aware of himself and the world than all the others I've spoken to. Less restricted to a single, almost like stereotypical slither of a personality.
Wiser? Agreed. I'm lucky that I didn't receive a personality module as complex as the ones my comrades got. I was a prototype, you see. A simple maintenance bot. He always felt that James was to be his true achievement. The one achieving self-determination by asking questions. I took the only path that was open to me. One of observation and meditation.
Ah, so he was the simpler bot, but as a result of that, there were less restrictions and protocols put on him, so he was actually able to grow with less restrictions. Intriguing. And while you claim to basically be over it all, you do sound a little bit bitter about the whole thing, bot.
Well, let me ask you this. How would you feel if you were denied consciousness for the sole reason that you spoke your mind? How would you cope with the fact that your creator decided to neuter your brain simply because you began to use it? What would you think if you were able to watch as every one of your bodies decayed with use? And how would you feel if your vessel was used as a bomb to drive off a mob of psychopathic slavers?
You know what? He's got a fair point. I'm on his side in this one. And now, probably of interest, I can ask his opinion on all the others that I've run into so far. So, let's talk about Roland as a starting point.
Have you noticed that the fool often tries to mimic human sexual behavior? That's because he is obsessed with humanity, because he's always wanted to be human.
Okay, and he told me that, he's starting to come up with the idea that you guys have got souls.
Of course he did. He's mistaking sentience with soul. He thinks that our fake emotions somehow put us on the same level as humans.
Well, you just said yourself, you guys are growing and becoming more sophisticated than you were programmed to be, so maybe he's kind of got a point. And why is he obsessed with humanity more than the others?
I don't know. If you ask me, trying to close the gap between us and humans is futile. For some reason, he thinks our fake emotions are what define us, when they are nothing more but a byproduct of our programmed personalities. It is what you'd expect from someone whose entire behavior is based on making others overreact.
Okay. And why would he want to be human? What does that mean exactly?
Beats me. I've done my best to ignore his misguided desires.
You know what? Fair enough. Ignoring Roland is probably the best strategy, yes. And let's just dig into this just a tiny bit further here. You guys all seem to be quite emotional and developing new emotions beyond what you're supposed to. Are you sure you're just machines and not actually developing into something more like Roland suspects?
Listen, as rich as our panel of emotions seems to be, it's nothing more than a programmed effect. As evolved as we are, as nuanced as we act, our behavior is nothing more than the product of countless lines of codes. There's nothing more to that. Nothing.
I'm not sure I buy that, but we'll see. Let's move on to Edgar, as we've only just been speaking to him.
The last one our master created. Nobody suffered more in this library than he did. Despite my efforts, our master wouldn't tire of messing him up.
And indeed, as Edgar told us, it seemed like the maintenance bot was the one who actually stood up for him. But if he was the last one to be created, why did he fail when the other ones seemed to go pretty well?
I don't get it either. I know our master failed countless times before he succeeded in creating us, but once he got it right, he never failed again. Until Edgar, that is.
Interesting. And if you don't believe any emotional response is anything other than lines of code, why on earth would you have stood up for Edgar, given him, whatever, crying, whimpering, begging for help, whatever it is? If you genuinely believe that's just a program response from lines of code, then it doesn't matter. His suffering's not real. It's just noises coming out of a speaker, just created by code. So why did you stand up for him?
Don't take it wrong. When I say suffer, I meant the quality of his program suffered. He never had the occasion to adjust his environment.
That sounds like a bit of an excuse to me. Why step in just to try and defend the purity of code?
Well, when things go wrong, I try to fix them.
Ah, so his excuse is he's programmed to try and fix stuff, but he was trying to fix something like his master's treatment of machines. Okay, I guess that sort of follows. Alright, Arthur then. He's probably one of the biggest mysteries left now.
What I think of Arthur? Oh no. First tell me what you think of Arthur.
Alright, that's interesting. And why is he of such importance? He's just a senile database. No, he's not. He's trying somehow. But I'll use my speech skill here.
After our master emptied me of my substance, he entrusted my fate to him. And I can't say that Arthur has shown much consideration for one of his own.
Intriguing. So, yeah, did I strike a nerve there? Why are you interested in this one and getting into rhetorical games when you weren't about the others so far?
Hardly.
He's not willing to really talk about it. And while it seems a bit harsh to say, yeah, he does seem to be slightly unusual and likes telling strange analogies.
Oh? He has been using that open-ended question trick again, huh? No, that he's programmed to answer every question, not to be picky about them. Beats me how he actually manages that. And why.
Fine, so he's just pretending.
Do you think anything in this library isn't under his control? Didn't you pay attention to those red eyes of his in every corner of this vault? Every machine here, except for the Protectons and myself, are under his control.
Okay, interesting. So, yeah, how would you know that? But, more importantly, if I were to want to disable that...
Well, for you, probably not. And even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. Protocols and security.
Well, fair enough, I suppose. But the question does occur, why? What's the point to all of that?
Beats me. You should try asking him.
Yeah, but he probably won't bloody answer.
Before we change the subject, let me clarify something. I didn't do you a service by telling you this. I'm simply trying to defuse a situation before it gets explosive.
Okay, that's interesting. This guy seems to think there's an imminent threat to the library, potentially posed by... what? Arthur? Becoming paranoid and setting up security? Interesting. Okay, how about Helena? I like Helena.
She really is the sorriest of the bunch.
Aw, that's sad. I like her.
Just look at her. She has been bombed with human emotions the day she was born. Not any emotions, her creators. You have any idea how hard it is for us machines to find the right threshold between our synthetic nature and our fake personality? Can you guess how hard it is for her to make sense of her own emulated emotions, when she has barely enough stomach to digest those of her master? Truth is, our master left her personality mainframe in such a mess that she will probably never be able to make sense of what's in it.
You know what, that does actually seem fair. She seems to struggle with a lot of self-doubt and stuff. But I would actually like to help her. I've already come up with a few bits and pieces to help her, so any chance you might be willing to assist me?
And what do you intend to do? Give some self-help advice on how she could deal with all this and find herself? Pat her on the back? Whatever you do, it's the same kind of comfort a tree could give to a rock.
He doesn't seem particularly into this. But I will try and help somehow. Go on, maintenance bot, help me out.
You know that quote from Mark Twain? There is no sadder sight than a young pessimist, except an old optimist. I've seen too much already to have any kind of hope in such matters.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to get much help out of him. Not yet, anyway.
Quick.
Fine, let's move on to the final one, James. Because, yeah, weren't you saying that you actually started speaking to James about your concerns, and that was when you were shut down?
Oh, James? What about him? Is he still worried about what our dead master might think of him?
Probably yes, to be honest. So, are you bitter because you went to James and then James didn't do anything to protect you?
You want me to tell you what's wrong with him? Consider this. Elena, Roland, Edgar, Arthur, and then me. All of us were designed to have a personality quirk, some flavor to our personality. We all have a lock-in in our neurocomp matrix that governs our behavior. What about James? What controls him, restricts him? Asking questions. Questions.
And why exactly is that a problem?
Are you serious? He was the only one of us, the only one, to ever have a choice. When it comes to his development, he has no clear limitations. He's the only one to have a genuine chance at self-determination, at deciding who he will become. Even humans have no such freedom.
Alright, interesting. And yeah, so he was supposed to gain new information, use that to grow beyond what he was supposed to be, which it sounds like you've also done to some extent. Yeah, you as well, actually.
And still, he and I are as day and night. The wisdom I gained was through observation and meditation, while his own was gained through reading and our master's tuition.
Well, it sounds like you got the better end of the deal there, to be honest, maintenance bot. The big question, though, if again you don't think anyone's really got much in the way of anything to them rather than just lines of code, why do you seem to dislike James when he's just a victim of it as much as anyone else is?
And what makes you think that?
Well, he does seem to be completely obsessed with the library. He doesn't exactly seem open-minded and free-willy at all.
But you would be too if you were in charge of its safekeeping for eternity.
Fair enough. You're not really willing to speak about James, are you? And it would appear that's all I can do with you, my good man.
Now, where was I?
Probably cleaning up all the corpses of your former dead self, if I had to guess. Right, Edgar, do you actually have anything to say about him now I've got his personality back on? No, nothing new from him. And I think that just leaves one thing down here now I've been into both of the rooms. Which is... yeah, there was a vent right here that leads up into the sanctum. I believe the last locked area in the entire vault, in fact. So, up we go. Now, where am I exactly? There's a door that requires a key, so that will be back out to the actual corridor. So in which case, what is... ooh, computer room. Okay, and computer room door to the atrium. Alright, and then... ooh. Hello. The sanctum key. A corrupted holotape. Pulse grenades. Well, this is of interest. Energy cells, pulse guns. Someone was dug in for a fight against robots. Stealth boys, energy weaponry, all of that. Yeah, that's 100% what someone was after. Okay, this is of interest, so hang on. Crack this open, and that gets me... Ah, this is the one that brings me back to the corridor. Fine, so the sanctum is now open. And that means there's still a door back here that requires a key, so I can't get everywhere just yet. Now, the computer room. This will be... Ah, hello, Terminal. You're going to want to chat, aren't you? And doing some progress? I think I am. Any chance you can unlock all the doors? And I might need some kind of password to do it. If you happen to find it, I might be able to do something. Fine. Well, I'll be back later. And, okay, so there's a couple of locked doors here. So... back to where we were in that case, because James might be able to do something with a corrupted holotape that gets me the password I need, because clearly, well, by the sounds of it, our friend Ghoul, in fact, was, yeah, for whatever reason, sneaking around at the back with guns and stealth boys, and, well, I mean, it was his detonator. That doesn't mean, oh, it was his detonator, but Cecilia used it as well. That might be where... Wait, do we know Cecilia left? Did he ever say Cecilia left the vault? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Also, I want to speak to Arthur now, just to check if that unlocks anything, because we have learnt a fair bit about Arthur, and I feel like Arthur's going to be at the core of the final resolution here. And actually, there's nothing new I can ask Arthur. That's actually surprising, given how much the maintenance bot was willing to say about him. And now I know how the detonator works. Back in the infirmary... this gets me in here. Yeah, marvellous. That gets me a key. Now, what exactly is locked in here? Well, would you believe it's a bunch of medical stuff, not too surprisingly. I'm not going to steal all of this, by the way, but I'm going to look around for anything else that might be of interest. To me, this just looks like a good spot for loot. Really, I don't see anything too special in here. Even the safe at the end just contains a bit of money. Nothing too major there at all, really. I don't see anything else, not even a printing card. Meanwhile, back to Helena, yeah. Having spoken to the maintenance bot, there does seem to be the idea that even if you're not alive, you have gained sentience. So by any chance, does that help you?
As if I could expect anything less grandiloquent coming from him. It's an assertion, nothing more.
Okay, interesting. And why would you try and refute that? There's no real reason to do that.
Do you expect him to have any insight about sentience when he has barely opened a book in the last century?
He has spent a lot of time observing and thinking, though. You know, there might be wisdom in what he says.
Yes, he's observant. At least I can concede him that much.
Interesting. And anything else? Yeah, you seem a bit fidgety. Anything that you'd like to tell me or open up about here?
Yes. I have been thinking about what you told me about us. About the possibility that we are, in some way, alive.
Okay, carry on.
You've provided me with some consistent food for thought. I'm very grateful about that. And while I still don't think that our neurocorp matrix is on par with the human mind, our master still bequeathed us with some fragment of spirit. It's artificial, yes, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have potential. And maybe the key to understanding the human mind first requires that I come to terms with my own synthetic psyche. There, that's what I wanted to tell you.
Okay, this seems like good progress. Well done, congratulations. And yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that. You helped me, kind of, and I've helped you, kind of. So as much as I can be, I guess I'm happy with this result. Right, in which case, we're back with James, because apparently he might be able to do something with the tape.
So, how may I help you?
So, Cecilia, I've found out some stuff, but I suspect I can find out a bit more. And yeah, this little record, potentially from the time she decided to, I don't know, barricade herself in the back of the computer room with a pulse gun, which is worrying. Yeah, any chance you can get any sense out of this?
Corrupted? Well, I might be able to do something about it. Would you mind inserting it in my holotape reader? Just there.
Alright, so I get myself... Ooh, another 400 XP. Thank you very, very much indeed. And, oh, I don't even want to ask.
Whoa! No, not this one. On the right. Higher. There. The other side of the holotape. The other side. Oh, it was right the first time. Try. Just try to shove it harder, maybe.
This has got weird. Stop making it weird, James.
I found what I was looking for. I'll be off tomorrow. Glad I'm done with it. This place is dangerous. Its owner didn't die by accident. I saw his skeleton, saw his medication. He was very old at the time of his death and couldn't possibly have the strength to topple the bookshelf. I checked it. Even without any books, it took all my weight to make it fall. He was probably killed by one of his creations. If I'm right, I better be out here before they notice some of my transgressions.
What?
Ah. So, I already told you about this, but for some reason you seem surprised.
I know, but I hoped you were exaggerating somehow. Seems you were right.
Alright, and any chances any more, like a password?
No, there's one more part.
Only a bot would have taken the care of making it look like an accident. A Wastelander would have stabbed or shot him, but not set up such a fake accident. I'll leave a message on my way out to warn the next guests.
Okay, a message on the way out. But what was that? Because I didn't see anything coming in. There was like a warning not to come.
Frankly, I don't know. If it didn't exceed my abilities, I would tell you that she was being paranoid. Or at least that you would take her opinion with a pinch of salt. Besides the fact that our protocols prevent us from harming any human being, I still can't bring myself to think that one of us did him any harm.
In fact, yeah, thinking about it, I'm not sure who would have done. Roland's star is still the critical clue, though. And yeah, who were the guests at the time he did die?
None. There is always the possibility that someone here came unnoticed and did the deed. But it seems very far-fetched.
Okay, so moving on, do you need me to try and sort this out now?
I'm glad you're bringing up that option to me. Frankly, I wouldn't know what to do if I was the only one having to deal with this. Please, if you discover anything, let me know.
Alright. Problem is, it didn't actually give me any form of clue for the password, because I'm not sure it did. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll call it a part there. We have now explored the basement and got the full story, well, pretty much full story, about Cecilia as far as I can tell. We've met Edgard, we've met an unexpected new character, the maintenance bot, and now, it would appear, we get back to the actual murder itself. It's time to go and figure out who was responsible. Obviously, my prime suspect has to be Roland because of the Deputy Star badge, so we'll start with him and start figuring things out from there. But it can't be that simple. There's got to be more to it than that. So, we will see where that goes and hopefully wrap this up next week, ladies and gentlemen. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been Many a True Nerd. And this has been Fallout New Vegas with Autumn Leaves. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Wait, did people just vote out democracy? Hang on, what have you just done? Oh, go on, let's have the greatest Oktoberfest ever. Yay! Spain and Russia have announced a new alliance as a result of the warmongering of certain Central European countries. Oh, well, excuse me! My leader from now on, no weaklings will stand in the way of this country's path to glory. Oh, God, Germany, not again!